Imagine you're a person with type 2 diabetes. Your doctor prescribes a medication that has kept your blood sugar under control for years, and suddenly, it's gone from every pharmacy. Not because production stopped, because millions of people without diabetes started injecting the same drug to fit into a smaller pair of jeans. In this video, we'll dig into what's actually happening when a drug created to treat diabetes turns into a mass weight loss tool for people who don't medically need it. Ozempic is the brand name for semaglutide, a drug from the class of GLP-1 receptor agonists. It was officially approved to control blood sugar levels in people with type 2 diabetes. The mechanism is simple yet elegant. The drug mimics a hormone the body produces after eating. It slows stomach emptying, reduces appetite, and acts on hunger centers in the brain. A side effect, but a very noticeable one, is that people start eating less and losing weight. And it's that side effect that made the drug world famous, far more famous than its actual medical purpose. It's important to distinguish. There's Wegovy, the same semaglutide, but at a higher dose, officially approved specifically for treating obesity. Ozempic itself is not officially indicated for weight loss. Any use for that purpose is off-label, meaning outside its approved instructions. The turning point came when celebrities started talking, openly or in not-so-subtle hints, about dramatic weight loss on Ozempic. Social media ran with it, and terms like Ozempic face and Ozempic body appeared to describe the characteristic look of someone losing weight rapidly. Researchers estimate that in the United States, around 15 million people are now taking GLP-1 drugs, and a significant share of that demand is driven by the desire to lose weight, not medical necessity. The result is a shortage. Doctors and pharmacists have repeatedly reported that diabetic patients physically cannot find the drug at pharmacies because it's being bought up by people who got a prescription for looks, often through online services that issue prescriptions in a few clicks, with little to no in-person evaluation. What happens to the body of someone it wasn't prescribed for? Let's start with the most common issue. Studies show that anywhere from 42 to nearly 83% of people taking semaglutide experience gastrointestinal complaints: nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea. It's so widespread that researchers describe it as almost the norm rather than the exception. Here's an interesting finding from a recent Rutgers University study published in the Journal of Medical Internet Research. People generally don't stop taking the drug because of these side effects. They keep injecting as long as they see results on the scale, and they only quit when the weight stops coming off or plateaus for too long. In other words, satisfaction is driven by effectiveness, not by how comfortably the body tolerates the drug. But the stomach is just the visible part of the iceberg. There are more serious risks too. Gallbladder. Rapid weight loss raises the risk of gallstones and gallbladder inflammation. Muscle loss. When the body sharply cuts calorie intake, it loses not just fat, but a significant share of muscle mass too, especially dangerous for people who aren't managing nutrition and physical activity alongside the medication. Nutrient deficiencies. Constant appetite suppression means people simply don't get enough protein, vitamins, and minerals. Eyes. Some studies point to a possible link between semaglutide and a rare condition, non-arteritic anterior ischemic optic neuropathy, which can cause partial vision loss. Researchers stress that causation hasn't been proven and the absolute risk is low, but it's already significant enough to be discussed in scientific circles. The psychological dimension. Why this is riskier than it looks. Beyond physiology, there's another layer to this problem, the psychological one. Eating disorder specialists point out that because the drug suppresses appetite so strongly and mechanically, it can trigger or worsen maladaptive eating patterns in people who are already predisposed to them. So something that's a weight control tool for one person can become a trigger for a much deeper problem in another. Add to that another factor. When someone stops taking the drug, and sooner or later that happens almost without exception, appetite returns to its previous level. If eating habits and physical activity haven't changed during treatment, weight tends to come back. Sometimes, all of it. The result is a paradox. A drug meant to deliver a quick result right now, without an accompanying change in behavior, doesn't solve the weight problem long term. It just postpones it, while adding a pile of side effect risks along the way. The social and ethical side. And this brings us back to where we started. While social media debates the Ozempic effect on red carpets, real people with type 2 diabetes are dealing with the fact that their life-sustaining medication is physically unavailable at pharmacies. Doctors describe the situation this way. Part of their working time is now spent not treating patients, but hunting down a drug that used to be simply prescribed and picked up without any trouble. There's another layer of inequality here too: access. People who can afford to pay out of pocket for a weight loss prescription through online services get the drug faster and more easily than patients who need it for their health and depend on insurance coverage or public healthcare systems. This video isn't a call to judge people who want to lose weight. Wanting to feel better in your own body is a completely human, understandable desire. The real question is different. Does a person actually understand what they're signing up for when they get a drug outside its approved indications? Often without a proper in-person medical exam, without lab monitoring, and without a plan for the moment they'll eventually have to stop. Ozempic really is an effective drug. But it was designed to be effective for one specific medical purpose. When a tool gets used far beyond its intended purpose on a mass scale, the consequences are felt not just by the people taking it off-label, but by the people who depend on it for their health. If you found this video useful, hit like and it genuinely helps the channel. And let me know in the comments, have you personally come across stories of people using drugs like this? Your own or someone else's? I'd love to hear different perspectives.